Hey guys, welcome to my first Design with Me series, and I'll be walking you through my process of designing. And today's case study is going to be a bill payment app. We're starting from the concept down to how we landed in the prototype. If you're ready, let's begin. So, how do we simplify this? I got the concept from apps. We have fintech apps in Nigeria here, but now I'm looking at how to handle bill payments. Like the main focus should be bill payment. Then when it comes to handling transfer, it's just how to get money to your wallet. So that's the concept. Now, what did I do? Firstly, I started off with user research, and the method I used was to get my data through survey. I used Google Forms. I came up with a list of questionnaires to serve my audiences. I built the form on Google Form, which is actually free and very easy to use. Then I shared it among friends and also on Twitter. I got some participants, and almost about nine or more than nine participants actually responded to my forms, getting me data to use for my design. Then I move on to analyze my data. First of all, I do my analysis on pen and paper, analyze. After getting my data, I also take this data to AI. Actually involve AI in my process. Involve AI. I use Google Bard from the beginning to the end. Even the name Zap came from Google Bard. So I made use of Google Bard, shared the Google form replies and all the stats I got, how many percent said this, how many percent said that, shared the information with AI to help me analyze the data and see how I can actually get a tailored solution to my user's need, because everything has to be about the user. So after that, I do a lot of UX work. I try to find out the pain point of users. What's the pain point? Where did you go from? Where do they start interaction with my app? How do they get into my app? And when they get into my app, what is the goal? I try to, map out my users to their needs, and I do that using FigJam right there in Figma app. I use that, I map the user flow, I come up with information architecture, and I come up with some flow diagrams to actually try to see how users interact with my app to solve a particular need. So taking bill payment, for example, as the goal and trying to navigate my flow on how users get to the end goal. I do this with also the aid of AI to try to simplify my whole process and make it very fast. Since the only designer here, I have to consult AI and also look at the data I have, user data I have, see how I can actually combine the two to solve a problem. Then I go into sketching. So once I have my information architecture, my user flow, I try to see how come up with a sketch. Got the idea, see a lot of ideas out there, go on Behance, Dribble, Mobbing to see real life ideas, then combine this and come up with my design in my sketch pad. I use paper and pen mostly to sketch most of my designs. So after which I move to the next step to come up with a low fidelity UI. The low fidelity UI for me is basically more of layout. How do I structure this app? I have the sketch, but how does it look like in a well structured UI? So come up with it. Everything has to be black and white for me. That's how I go. Everything is black and white. Mind you, I have a full functional, let me say, mini design system for my app. So before I even get into designing, I determine the font, I determine the color combination, color palette, and determine which logo types I make use of and from which source, because everything has to be consistent. My spacing, try to know what framework I use for my spacing. I try to outline all those stuff in a single file in Figma, and I call it my design guide. So you can see my design guide. It has to do layout, everything, how it looks, the padding, the merging on all devices. So I get all my stuff consistent. Then I create all those stuff right in Figma to make design easy for me. This actually take a bulk of my time. Yes, is I find it. I think for me this has to be one of the most stressful part of designing and crafting out ideas from nothing. You coming up with all those designs. It takes time, and once you get it right, everything goes smoothly during the process of your design. Then I move to working on my low fidelity app. Sometimes I get to skip this part because once I have my sketch, I can also move straight to. But for some apps, I don't do that. I try to go through the flow. I break a lot of rules, yes, but I go through the flow, decide some components, work on seeing how those companies are in the right spaces, work on layouts and all those stuff before going down to high fidelity. So the funny thing is, once I have my low fidelity UIs, what really happens is for me to work on colors and see how to make minor adjustments, and I get my high fidelity. So moving from low fidelity to high fidelity for me is, the gap there is not really that big, but this is where the whole magic works. If you get it wrong here, you have to do it over. I must actually say this thing takes a lot of iterations back and forth, making sure you get everything right and trying to get user to their goal. That's the main point. You solving a problem. So if I'm not meeting that goal, then I'm not doing it right. Yes. Design is actually how it works, not just how it looks. So I do that with the intention of, okay, how is it going to work? Is once I click this button, what should happen before even I prototype? So the last thing is prototyping. Once I prototype, I get to test. Once I prototype, I get to look at my goals, user flows. Does it actually correspond? Is a user arriving at the solution with these flows? If yes, then I think I've gotten more like 50% of the work before even development comes in and stakeholders and the rest. Since I'm the stakeholder here, I did a test with few friends which used the app, shared it with them, and where I got some feedback, came back, work on it again, share with some design friends. Well, that's how I do my work. I share a lot. In an instance where I have a requirement document, I get to skip user research, skip a lot of processes, and go straight to sketching or ideating, or me on Behance trying to get ideas or coming up with something new and focusing just more on the design problems and solution. So that's it for me, and if you like this video and content like this is the first episode and there will be more. Subscribe, and thank you guys.